There was a direct yesterday. Welcome, friends. Last Scarf here, and it's time for the vlog. And it's been, what, 3 weeks? So, I worked 13 nights straight of Graves. And Jinx was really busy with work as well, so the vlog just didn't happen. I was just out of it. I really was. And I just kept sleeping until like 4 p.m., so no time to work on it, and then just doing it, and then, yeah. There were no vlogs because of that, and I guess it's fine because I don't know what I had to talk about anyway. There's always a why, I'm sure, but yeah, I don't know. This episode, it's gonna be simple. Why does Graves suck? Why are Graves a pain in the ass, and why do I do them? Well, I don't have a choice of why I do them, but that'll be the end. So let's talk about the direct first. Let's see, what do I remember? What do I remember from the direct, and can I remember an order? Let's see how far I can keep the order going before I forget the order here. What came first? Oh, Monster Hunter DLC. So I'm happy with that because I like Monster Hunter. It's going to be one of the top 10 games of the year for sure for me. I don't know what the number one's going to be. Well, I have a good guess what number one's going to be. That's going to be up there though. What was after that? The card game from Yakutaro. So everyone's like, okay, so there's going to be some Nier lore in here somewhere. I'm interested, it's like a different kind of Hand of Fate. I'm interested just because the concept is pretty cool. So definitely Voice of Cards, I want to try that out for sure. Alright, okay. I got 2 correct so far. Can I remember the third thing? Mario Party, I think, was the third thing. Yeah, Mario Party, you can play it online. That sounds pretty cool. I like Mario Party games. If the online connection's really strong, that'd be great. And I don't remember what's after that. But let's see if I can still try. Can I remember what came after Mario Party? Was it more DLC stuff, or did we go right into the next thing? You can't remember? Was Kirby next? There's 40 minutes of stuff. I don't remember now. Okay, so I'm sure I don't remember what the fourth thing was, so let's stop playing this game now. Things I remember. ActRaiser Remaster. I already bought it last night. I got it last night, so I'm gonna check that out. That'll be on stream today. Checking it out. ActRaiser. The original ActRaiser was pretty cool. You can always, of course, emulate it on SNES and play the original. But apparently this remaster is... They added, they doubled the content. And they gave more gameplay, which, yeah, because there wasn't that much gameplay to the overworld version of things. And the graphic looks really nice, too. In the overworld, if I remember correctly, because it's been, 10 plus 15 years, most of the overworld stuff was just managing and building things. And then you ran around just killing things in platformer to build up power. And this one looks like there's actually, you're doing some tower defense kind of stuff or something like that. But, that's new. That's cool. So I'm excited for that. I also played 2. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, where they make a big deal about your followers, where they make a big deal about your first follower. We're this is your first follower. This is the first man who was faithful to you. You are their god. And every now and then you get updates about them, and at some point they die, and you're supposed to feel really sad about that. That's what they tried to do. Because, yeah, if you are a god, and you had people who believed in you when no one else did, and then you, of course, become a big god figure and everything, and you lose your first follower, it should, it should feel something. You should. So it's an interesting idea they had there with the original, and I wonder what they'll do with this one. Because, of course, I can't, you're either a new god, or you're the true god, and you awaken, and you need to rebuild. And then you're fighting the old gods, or you're fighting the heathen gods. I forget what it is now. I'm sure the memories won't even come back after I play this remaster. It's just I don't remember how the original was. ActRaiser was just nuts. It was something else. I'm super sure ActRaiser was on... I'm mostly sure ActRaiser was on Nickelodeon's arcade game show. Which wasn't the first arcade game show, by the way. There was an older one from the 80s. There was a really, really old one. A really, really old arcade game show in the 80s, which surprised me. I thought Nickelodeon's arcade was the first one, but it wasn't. That surprised me. You always think whatever you watched as a kid was the first one of anything, really. That's usually how it be. You usually think that was the first instance. Like, whatever your first... As a kid, your first version you see of something you think is the original. I think that's just how it always is until you get older and find out there were older versions. Like, I'm sure there's kids who see, like, the current version of Ninja Turtles, the more anime-influenced one. I think that one's gone now. That one's over now. And they probably thought that was the original. And they thought that was the original April O'Neil and all these things. Like, wait, she was like this before? And things like that. God, okay. So, no one's going to remember any of this. But I remember Budweiser used to have an ad campaign of just dudes saying, "What's up?" And that was enough. Just them saying, "What's up?" a bunch. And the first instance I saw that was an animated version of it. And I thought that was the original. Well, I was like 12 or something. I was very young. That's the thing with kids. That's the things with that we think we know the origin of things and we don't know the origin of things. We just make a guess. Anything excites me. I can't believe they're keeping the name Triangle Strategy. But sure, why not? Keep the name Triangle Strategy. Sure. I'm interested. That's in March. I'm buying that. There's another game in March. What am I buying in March as well? There's like 2 or 3 games in March I'm going to buy. I'm like, okay, well, there goes whatever bonus money I give myself on every paycheck. My Animal Crossing's getting their own Direct. Smash Direct is going to be... apparently it's the same day as the Nickelodeon All-Stars. Which is interesting to see. Like, that has to be on purpose. It could only be a coincidence, but that's got to be on purpose. The Final Smash Fighter. Like, we're at the point where people who are young enough to be influenced by Smash are now making games, and that's what we're seeing here with this is fans of Smash making a Smash game with Nickelodeon characters. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see that. Because it's possible this could be the last Smash anyway. Like, it's probably not gonna be. There'll be another one someday, but for the time being, this is the last Smash for who knows how long. Because, Sakurai wants to go do something else. Sakurai's a man who hates doing sequels, and that's all he does is sequels. It's unfortunate for him. I'm curious what new original content he's going to try to make, or a remake he's going to try to make. Because he tried to bring back Kid Icarus, and it didn't work out. I wonder if he'll try to do it again with some other property. So, Kirby Forgotten Lands. It's very interesting to see a 3D Kirby. People are clamoring for a 3D Kirby. I'm like, I don't... Really? Alright, okay, that'll be interesting if we get one, but I'm not gonna go crazy about, like, not that I'm not gonna go crazy, it's more, I'm not begging for 3D Kirby. There are people who are begging for it, for like all year, they're like, I hope we get a 3D Kirby, I can't wait for a 3D Kirby, I'm like, no matter what happens, Kirby's gonna be fun. Someday we'll get a 3D Kirby, like a full-on 3D Kirby. I wasn't sure when, and here we are with the 30th anniversary is going to be the 3D Kirby. I'm like, alright, cool. I expected a 30th anniversary Kirby collection game, and that might still happen. Because 3.0 is still a big anniversary to have. So we might still get a 30th anniversary game, but that would be in the spring, and this game's going to be in the spring too, and I don't think they want to double dip on themselves having 2 games around the same time, so... I don't know. I would not have been surprised if Forgotten World would have been fall next year, and the collection would have been spring. But nah, we're getting it there, so we'll see what happens there. I'm enjoying watching the Kirby community just pour over that and dissect everything. And they're trying to figure out if one of the Waddle Dees is Bandana D. I'm like, sure, maybe. It could be. He just doesn't have his bandana on yet, or it's just a D. He's just the one in the front. That's why he's the darker one. That's all. And I absolutely love... Somebody drew Kirby going, how the hell did you get here? And it's just Wispy Wood saying F you. I'm like, yeah, how would he get here? So people are wondering if this is Shiverstar. Like, I think maybe it's Shiverstar. Like, thought out Shiverstar. Like, Earth is back. But it's also possible it's just another planet that Earth colonized. Considering Adeline is on Popstar. That means humans came to Popstar, which means humans have traveled space. I'm really curious about that. It'd be interesting to find out that there's actually just a ton of humans on Popstar. It's just only Adeline's the only one that we ever see. But the other ones are hanging out. It's interesting to see a mix of new and old enemies on this planet, though, on the Forgotten Land. It's very interesting to see that. Because we see what might lead to Animal Kirby. We saw those guys. I forget what they're called right now, but we also saw things like Kaboo. So there's classics and new ones. There's that big gorilla boss, and it's interesting to see 3D bosses as well. Yeah, Kirby's always fought things that are like bosses that are bigger than him. So it's cool to see this big gorilla boss. And we'll see what other things and how that goes. And people are like, oh my god, Kirby has a Ocarina of Time backflip, Dark Souls backflip. I'm like, yeah, Kirby needs that. He needs to be mobile. He needs to have a way to quickly move back or quickly move in case anything happens. So that's cool there. Speaking of Kirby, what timing for this? The Kirby Superstar podcast has come out. Like, the podcast episode has come out. We've put that out there. It was on the 20th for the anniversary of Kirby Superstar in America. And there's going to be 6 videos for Superstar. 5 on the games, and then the 6 bonus one for the OST. So a lot of episodes for the podcast coming out with Kirby. And then after those 6 episodes, I guess we'll go back to the anime for a little bit. And it's Star Stacker next. That's the next game. And I think it's Kirby's Dream Land 3 after Star Stacker. And then there's the mangas, which the mangas are for like 5-10 years from now, because I need to build you need to build a scanner for the mangas, because the correct way to do it is you destroy the spine and you just would directly scan the pages. But you can also make a scanner so that you can scan them while keeping the spine intact, and that's what's going to happen there. I've said this before. I want the spine intact because I want to be able to let them still be what they are. I don't want to destroy them. The problem is the 2-page spreads. That's going to be impossible without destroying the spine. So I guess we're not going to destroy the spine. It's just going to be, there's going to be like this middle part in the 2-page spreads that you're not going to see because I'm not going to destroy the spine. I don't want to. Unless I can get 2 copies, I guess. But I don't know. Even then, I don't want to destroy the spine if I can help it. But there are 2-page spread images in Kirby. So I don't know. And I feel like we'll legally be fine to do all this because none of these mangas are going to be in America. None of them. I've got like 28-year-old manga here from Japan that's never come to America. So I feel like I'm totally okay with scanning and translating this manga to English. But that's far from now. Like, I have to get good at Photoshop, and I have to get good at scanning these things. I could always like scan some random pages, like my favorite ones right now, and put them up. That's a thing I can do right now. I do a basic scan. Because there are some pretty funny ones that I've seen that, or just take pictures. Just take pictures and put them up. Because there's some funny ones from the manga that you don't need words for, because it's just funny gag visually. I don't know what I'm going to do there. But unless someone else does it first, I'm going to be the guy who does that for like 10 years. Because there's a lot of manga. And I want to put it out there because the Kirby manga is pretty funny, and the US audience doesn't really get to appreciate that. And so I want to make that happen. Moving on from Kirby, what was also there? Disco Elysium's coming to Switch. Disco Elysium is potentially going to be the game of the year this year. It was the most impactful game I played this year. It was so damn good. It was really good. It is probably the number 1. I don't know what could beat it, but it's probably the number 1. What else is there? Oh, Splatoon 3. Just excited to play it. I'm not like a diehard Splatoon fan. I never played 2. I didn't play 2. I just played 1. I'm willing to come back for 3. It looks fun. Bayonetta 3. Fashionably late. Oh my god. I'm happy to see it. There were so many clues it was going to be her, because when it first came up, you saw 101 in the background. I was like, okay, Wonderful 101. They got Platinum over here. References to different things. Reference to Astral Chain right there. I'm like, okay, so this is something Platinum for damn sure. Which I still gotta play Astral Chain. And then Bayonetta shows up, like, okay. And people have noticed she's wearing her child hair. That's the hair she wore when she was a child. I still have not played Bayonetta 2. So I gotta play 2 at some point. I figure, wait, did they ever port 1 and 2 to Switch? I actually don't remember now. I know that was on Wii U. But at some point I'm going to have to play 2. And then we'll play 3. Metroid Dread is coming. And Jinx explained to me the timeline, which is ridiculous. It's all over the damn place. So if I play 5, if I play Dread, it'll be like, I don't know what's going on with it with Samus, but it looks like a pretty clean game. It looks like a pretty clean game. Looks like it's going to be fast, but also slow at points, and deliberate, so it should be cool. Should be fun. It's coming out soon though, so I don't know. I'm gonna do Great Ace Attorney and that. Oh yeah, they also showed Deltarune. I haven't played 2 yet. So the plan is I'm going to record the Great Ace Attorney, then I'm going to record Deltarune, and then go back to Great Ace Attorney. The reason for that is just because I do voices for both those games, so I don't want to do 2 games at once, or I'm doing voices. Rousey's coming back. Well, that's not the exact voice for Rousey. Gotta work on that. So that'll be fun to do. I've seen so many spoils for Deltarune Chapter 2, though, which is annoying. It's barely been a week. What else is there? What else was in the Direct? I think I've mentioned almost everything. Oh, Shin Megami Tensei 5's coming. Yeah, I think I mentioned everything. Rune Factory. I think Rune Factory 5's coming out in March. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is too. That might be the other game. There's 2 or 3 games in March that I gotta buy, and it might be Rune Factory 5, so we're gonna play that too. I didn't finish 4. At some point I just ran out of steam on 4. It's what happens. I think it's everything in Direct. Oh, right, the movie. Oh my god. Okay, so Chris Pratt. I was like, what? I think everyone reacted everyone just reacted strongly to Chris Pratt. You know what? He's done voice work before. He was pretty good in Lego Movie. I hope he's gonna try to do a voice for this and not just be Chris Pratt, but we'll see. Just being Chris Pratt, I don't know. I think Mario does need some sort of accent in there. Charlie Day as Luigi is perfect. Jack Black as Bowser is perfect. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is weird. I don't see that, but alright. Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. This is the lady from Queen's Gambit. I liked her in that. So this should be a more mouthy Peach then, because she was very quick-witted in... Mouthy's not the right word. She was very quick-witted and she had barbs in how she spoke to people at times in Queen's Gambit, so I figure that'll be what she kind of is here, where Peach should be sweet but also can be aggressive if she needs to be. And then Toad is freaking Keegan, last forgot middle name Key. And he's cool. It's an interesting choice for Toad. I'm just glad Charles Martinet is going to be in there as cameos. Of course you want to be Mario himself, but that's not going to happen. The voice actors who have done the craft for so long never get the big roles, which is very unfortunate. They don't get given a chance there. Besides Sonic Movie. Sonic Movie really is the only one that's given, like, a voice actor chance to be a voice actor in a movie. Everyone else, usually it's some celebrities. Picking celebrities feels cynical, but you also gotta consider that they're going for a wide general audience. And celebrity names do pull people in, so there you go with that. I don't know. It could have been cool if they had voice actors for the major roles and then you had celebrities for smaller roles. That would have been interesting. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And I think that's everything. So, why does Graves suck? Also, Kirby. Kirby was there for the Graves. When you're alone, when you are alone during Grave, you need a little buddy for you to be not so scared of the ghosts that are out there. No, you need I had this, so like, okay, I don't feel so lonely now. I don't feel so lonely because I have Kirby with me. Well, before Grave, I am stressing out a lot right now when you should not be stressing, I think, over the Kirby podcast, because I really want it to hit. It has hit okay. I had to explore this at some point. Is it that I still want to be popular like I used to be? Is it that I don't want to be relevant? What is it that is making me stress out? Or is it just I don't want all this effort to be wasted? Because we put in 2 to 3 months into the Kirby podcast for Superstar. And I don't want my efforts or Jinx's efforts to be wasted. And I think I'm stressing about that. Also, I just want to still be relevant, maybe? I think that's probably it. And the question is that the reason behind getting the mangas? Because that'll be a niche, that'll make me relevant. And probably partially yes, but the other part is, I would love it if somebody scanned all the Kirby manga and I could read it online. I 100% think I would love that, of course, because that's what's happened already. There are some translations to some of the Kirby manga, and I love those manga. Those are hilarious. So I want to do that too. Someone right now is translating the light novels, and I've read them, and they're so fun. Like, they're the Kirby light novels are really fun. And someday we'll do episodes on those, where I'm gonna just basically go over the stories. The manga ones, though, I think what we'll do is, when I fully finish a manga, we'll put it online, and we'll have an episode to it too, where I talk about my favorite ones, and maybe even the process of translating the manga with each one. That might be interesting. And if there is a story or thread in there, I can talk about that too. And that would be the manga episodes. I think that's what would happen there. It's like, so it would be, here's the podcast episode that goes with this manga release. Well, this translation release. And yeah, that could be fun. I very much have a fear of just, of all of our efforts going to waste and no one seeing what we got. And that would really suck. And so I'm just trying my best to get people's attention. I'm just doing a giveaway for the Kirby podcast. We're doing a giveaway of Nintendo eShop money. I'm advertising it as best I can, talking about it as much as I can. And yeah. Well, I think the thing is, I'm not trying to be, like, people who advertise things to the point they're annoying. I'm not doing it that. I'm just advertising it here and there, but not being so aggressive that people get annoyed about it. And maybe that's what you're supposed to do to get people's attention. I don't know. But I'm trying to get people to listen to the podcast. Because the podcast is something we'll be doing for a very long time, and we've put so much effort into it. And so I'm back and forth in the feeling of, is it wasted effort, or is it not wasted effort if nobody watches it or listens to it? Because still I did it, and I got to enjoy the ride of doing it. But I also just want people to enjoy it. I want to make people happy. So I want people to find it and see it so they can be happy. So, yeah. So let's talk about Graves for 10 minutes. So Grave shift, for me, is from 10:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning. When you first do it, it's really annoying because you're just, you're sleeping. You're sleepy. And so I try to put in like power naps where I'm like, okay, I know there's no work that needs to be done for 20 minutes. Let's pop in a 20. So just put my head down for 20 and then wake back up. I have alarm set. I double alarm. I have an alarm set for every 2 hours for certain parts of work. And then I make 2 more, I triple alarm. So I make 2 more alarms. So when I'm like, oh, I'm going to put my head down, I do a timer alarm, and then I put an alarm for 25 minutes from that point on, in case I don't wake up, so that I do stages of wake up, and then I have these alarms I have set for every 2 hours at work. So I have different things there to wake me up. Why 2 hours? Because that's when there's certain things I have to do every 2 hours. So that's just normal there. And so I have these alarms set, so that I can just put my head down, because you can take a 20-minute nap and be refreshed. That has been found through a lot of study. You can do a 20-minute. 20 minutes and 90 minutes are the windows. Those are the best naps you can take. 60-minute nap can mess you up because if you wake up in the middle of REM, you just get messed up. Because REM is this, just getting woken up out of REM is bad for you. Anytime waking up out of REM is bad for you. 90 minutes goes through a full REM cycle. 20 minutes just rests your body before hitting REM. REM is the most restful sleep you can get, but the 20 minutes is it just gives your body like a breather kind of thing. That's what the 20 minutes does. Of course, you need time to fall into it, so maybe 25 minutes for me, because it takes a bit to just get into that state. Now, the military does training for falling asleep. Now, I could explain that, but I'm not gonna. There's videos of that. where you do these things to calm your body, to calm your mind, to put you in a restful state so that you can go to sleep. This is something that a lot of people in the military have that they can do. It's specifically for jet fighters, so that they can always be on the ready at any time. They train jet fighters to be able to fall asleep within like 6 minutes, and it's so that they can always be ready, and also so they can sleep in the jet if they need to. So that's the thing. This training wasn't done while laying down; it was done while sitting. So they're able to fall asleep while sitting in the jet if needed, which is pretty cool. And so I've tried to do that; it doesn't work, but I don't think I'm doing well enough, or my brain's just too crazy. But I try to do whatever I can to just, shut down for 20 and then wake back up, and it's go time. And only do it when it's tiring. And you only need to do that the first week. Once you've done a week of Graves, you're adjusted to it and you're good, and you can just do it. So what sucks about Graves is Graves does affect your body in certain ways. Like, it affects your circadian rhythm. And when your circadian rhythm is screwed with, which I'm not going to explain what circadian rhythm is right now, that is something I say Google. Circadian rhythm would take a little bit to explain. But it affects a lot of your body, what the circadian rhythm is. And so when you go into Graves, it actually, when you're sleeping during the day, your body's like, we're supposed to be in this state, not in this state. And you just pee like a gallon a day your first week. Because your body's like, wait, aren't we supposed to be active? So, our body's supposed to be like this. And then, so your body does a bunch of stuff your body is reacting as if you should be active. And it's like, okay. And if we were active, your urine would be, the things your body would be utilized, and you wouldn't have so much urine buildup. But because you were just sleeping, you get a bunch of urine buildup, so you got to pee and everything. So you pee like a gallon a day for the first week. Like, I lost weight the first week because I think I just lost a bunch of liquid. And just sleeping during the day can be annoying. Because everyone likes to play loud music, and as you can tell, like everything during the day, and then you got sunlight waking you up and everything. But a key important thing, because you're doing Graves, is you're not out in the sun either. And you need vitamin D. We are creatures of the sun. We need vitamin D, which comes from the sun. Vitamin D does have a lot of effect on mood and other parts of your body. And so Grave people can become moody because of that. So I try to get myself some sunlight. So every other day, I go outside and I lay out at the apartment complex pool, and I just lay out there for like 30 minutes, just bake in the sun, to get my vitamin D, and also just to warm my body up as well. But I make sure I get my D all over me. I get the D everywhere, because you just got to get that vitamin D. It's very important to get that. Doctors have found in studies that vitamin D deficiency does lead to higher rates of depression and mood issues. And that's what they found. Like, if you get a depressed person, they'll check their D levels, and they'll find they have like little or no vitamin D, and then they'll give them vitamin D supplements, and it does actually help with their depression. That is a basic thing that can help with some people, because they're night people sometimes, or they're just loners, or they stick to themselves, they stick inside all the time, so they're not getting a lot of vitamin D. There are things in our mental health that sometimes are just chemical. They're 100% because we're deficient in a chemical. That happens to people. I have someone in my family who is depressed, not mentally, but because there's a chemical imbalance in their body they have to take pills for, because they have digestive issues. Because of their digestive issues, their chemicals are not working out correctly, and they're depressed for no reason at all. So they have to take medication to balance their chemistry. Well, for me, I always believe it's got to be mental for me, because I do have a lot of mental hangups. And of course, chemistry could be a part of that as well. But I know I have a lot of mental issues as well. PTSD I have now is not helping. There are things I'll never share that I know have definitely contributed to my mental state of in depression and other things about my self-worth and things like that. And we're trying to unpack some of them here. Like, we try to unpack a bunch of them here with the whys. And if I ever unpack some of these other things, I'd have to be in a real interesting state to unpack some of the things I don't think I'd ever want to share. I can always do it on my own. I can unpack a lot of things that lead to me being able to unpack some of these other things on my own. That's the better way to put it in my head. There you go. Because you don't want to overshare. People are like, Jesus, man, what the hell? Why'd you share that? I don't know. I'm overthinking right now. Anything else with grave? Oh, it's just, when it's late at night, you just get a little creeped out. You're like, maybe there's ghosts. Or maybe someone could break in at any time. Or, oh yeah, in my experience, there's nature out there. So I've walked into rattlesnakes at night. They're just sitting out there. It's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in your hole. It's great. It's late night. What are you doing out and about? Oh, it's because it's summer. It's really hot out. So they don't always want to be in their hole because it's kind of hot out. There's coyotes out there. There's raccoons out there. I think I talked about this before. Sometimes I run into the raccoons. They're like, all right. And they'll just stand there like, all right, am I going or you going? I'm like, you go. You go, man. I'm not going to mess with you. Every night you open the trash can, like the big dumpster, and they're just hanging out in there. They're just hanging out in the trash can. That's raccoons for you. But there's coyotes out there too, and don't want to deal with coyotes. Snakes, beetles, tarantulas. So I looked up tarantulas because I needed to know. Tarantulas are not an enemy of humans. Tarantulas also aren't venomous, or at least they're not venomous to humans. So they spec'd into just really strong bites and grabs. They didn't spec into poison. Because they're bigger, so they don't need to. So I'm less scared of tarantulas in that they give you a nasty bite, but they can't poison you. It's like, okay, so I'm not as scared of them. They're still, creepy crawly, but I'm not as scared of them. There's spiders all over the place at the plant. There's big ones too, like big spiders besides tarantulas. And I try to be less on edge about them because spiders don't care about humans. They care about bugs and eating them. Spiders are pest control. So I try to recognize that, not bug spiders. But I also don't want to get bitten by spiders either, because they do have venom, and venom is annoying. The other thing with grave is just you're just on your own schedule. You're not on anyone else's schedule, and it can be annoying when you want to do things with others. But because of the pandemic, I'm not doing anything with others anyway. But like, if I had a date, I'd be like, okay, date, and then if it goes to a certain level, like, oh, well, I can't do anymore, I gotta go to work. This is being optimistic, obviously, because I haven't been on a date in a while. But if a date happened, I would only be able to do so much. Or just do a daytime date. Like wake up at noon, wake up in the middle of the day and then do the date. That was the other thing with grave is just you gotta get your sleep and you gotta sleep a bunch, because if you don't, you're just gonna be wrecked for grave. So basically it was just work, sleep, wake up, stream, go to work. Like that was all the time I had. That's all the free time. So it makes you a dull boy for sure. And then I did, because just overtime was there and I was already on grave, I did 13 days in a row just now. I'm done doing grave now for 3 months. And yeah, so why do I do it? Because I have to do it. We do a full rotation. To make it fair, everyone has to do graves. Every couple months, everyone does graves. While at other places, there's just that grave guy. Now, the problem with just having the grave guy is when you lose the grave guy, you gotta find another grave guy. Gotta find another person to do grave who's dedicated to grave. And you can't always find that, and then that's a pain in the ass for everybody. Having it in rotation is just easier, I think, just because it's more fair. Everyone has to do it. So everyone's used to doing it, so that you can have people do it when you need someone to do it. The big pain in the ass with grave is it's hard to do content. Like, I wrote the Kirby scripts during grave, and I had to reread and rewrite them a dozen times to make sure grammar and spelling, and sometimes I would just put the wrong word that was similar. Things like that happen. So it wasn't as easy to do that. And also, like, art really fell to the wayside also because of that as well. Art will be coming back. Like, I've been working on a Rousey drawing and a Susie drawing. I guess I'll do a Chris drawing. So graves I do not recommend. Also, if you like to drink, you would be day drinking. Like I hear this complaint about from other grave people, is like they'll wake up at 4 and drink, and people are like, you drink in the middle of the day? What the hell? Is like, dude, I'm grave. What do you want? Or they don't sleep right after work. They sleep later in the day, and so they'll drink at like 8 a.m. People are like, what the hell are you doing drinking at 8 a.m.? It's like, this is my dinner. This is 6 p.m. for me, kind of thing. And that's everything. That is the vlog. That's everything. Like, why do graves suck? Because they do. Now, I know other people work grave, and if you enjoy grave, good for you. Grave, what's nice about it is the solitude at times, but since I work in such a big place, it also gets creepy, so I'm not always a fan of it. Definitely, I have woken up from these 20-minute naps. I've had so many nightmares, way too many nightmares. Not happy with that at all. Okay, so that's it. That is the vlog. Next week we'll see what I explore and the why. We'll talk about. Who knows? But there you go. That is the vlog. I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.